Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stohs. So we spent a few weeks talking about strengths and strengths-based teams and how do we really understand who we are and what our talent is and what we bring. So when we think about our roles and we show up and do what we do best every day, sometimes we have a role that's not totally aligned with our strengths. How many of you feel like you're in that position today? It's like, I know I have so much to offer, but we're not using it all. Or I know that I have to do this piece because it's a huge responsibility of my job, but it's not so natural to me. Gosh, so how do you manage that? Well, one, you have to think about how much time are you spending doing that part of the job? Because if it's a big part of your job, probably not a good idea to continue forward. But let's talk about the piece that maybe is, you love most of your job, but you have a piece that's not your favorite piece. And you go, gosh, that's just more difficult for me. So let's talk about how to manage that. So first is understanding what it is. I think sometimes we say, gosh, we're not good at that, but we really haven't defined what that is, right? Is it the piece that are you not good at the content? Are you not good at executing the content? Are you not good at maybe thinking through what you need to do? So I think first you have to kind of define what it is. Second, then, is you have to think about, once you define what it is, then you go, what talent do I have? Let's look at my strengths and say, what do I have that can help me get there, right? So let's say part of a responsibility is that I need to collaborate with someone, and I'm really not a great relationship builder, and I really don't love to go and seek people out. But I have achiever and learner on my list. So even though it's not naturally that I'm like warm and loving to meet new people, because that's really not my strength, I put it on my to-do list to say, I need to go do this today. Or I need to go learn by asking questions. So we find one of our strengths that allows us to do it in a different way versus maybe a warm, fuzzy relationship. It's just more of a task and maybe learning from a content perspective. So that's one example. The second thing is put a system into place. So sometimes we maybe need to do something, but we're not good at that. So let me use another example for that. Let's say we're supposed to put our timesheets in, or we're supposed to track our project time to bill back to the client. And you're just not the normal structure kind of person, and all those strengths are at the bottom for you, which would be things like discipline and focus and structure kinds of things. And you go, I'm not good at that, but I got to do it because I always end up procrastinating and then I'm fall behind. And so then you put a system into place. So you know that every day at the end of the day, before you walk out of the door, you have to put your time in. You put it on your calendar and you have to, or set an alarm on your phone, do something that allows you to know, because you know when you do it, it takes 10 minutes. I had a doctor I was working with, and he had a lot of challenges because he wasn't getting paid from the hospital for his cases. Well, he was months behind, and he used to be months and months behind. So we just had to kind of chisel it down. It was something he wasn't easy at doing, but you know what? When we just put a system into place for him to do it, it became a habit, right? It's still not his natural talent, but he had to do it to get paid to be successful in what he did. The next thing would be to find a partner. So sometimes maybe that if that is something with that doctor, if that could have been something that somebody else could have done, he could have potentially delegated that to one of his team members. Now he couldn't in this instance because it was at his the hospital where he was at, and he needed to do it on the system and sign off on it. So it was his piece that he needed to complete. But think about that. Is there anyone else who loves to do that on your team, or somebody that you could partner with, or a team member that could do it for you? So for me, going back to the system, when it came to traveling and expenses, I would come home with a big, handful of expenses. Well, I put a system into place with a nice envelope that my team gave me to write everything down. And then the putting it in, then of course I have a team member who does all that for me. So, because she's really good at the details and she outlines everything and doesn't miss a thing. And so it's finding that partner who can maybe do some of that and love it and do it quicker, better, faster than you can. And I think that's the bigger thing, is sometimes we think we should do it. And the other thing is sometimes we think they're not going to like to do it because we don't like to do it. Well, we'll find out many times that that's wrong, that sometimes there's things they love to do and you give it to them and they're like, oh my gosh, I love it. And they quick get it done. And you're like, oh my gosh, that would have taken me like a week to even think about getting to. So I think that's really important to think about, is how do you really delegate that to a partner? And you take some of the things that they don't like to do. And then the last thing might be, if it comes to something in your business, I'm always about thinking about pay for it. If you don't have the right talent and it drags you down and is draining to you, you know what? Your time is worth more. Hire somebody else to do it. There's companies that do certain things for you that you can pay that's inexpensive. And sometimes I think you have to just get past that. Well, I should do it and I don't want to pay for it and it costs money. Well, you know what? It's just like me deciding, could I paint my living room? Yeah. Could I do it? I could do it. But do I have the equipment? Do I really want to do it? And is my time worth it? Probably not. Even if it's doing something outside, whatever it might be, just think about who are people that maybe are really good at it, have a better system in place, have better talent, and just then you can get it off your back and it doesn't drain you. So for positive charge this week, first think about something maybe that's not your natural talent, but is a part of your role that you need to accomplish. Number 2, is there another talent you can use? Or is there a partner? Or is there a system that you can put in place to make it happen so it can get done? When we think about our talents, we have so much that we can offer and we're so good at many things. We just have to find and discover them. But sometimes there's always going to be a part of our role or always something in life that we don't love to do. But when we think about other ways of accomplishing it, it can get done in a world-class way and where we can achieve goals for everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to get your mind on.